Peter, what is going on with you?
I'm really sorry. I'm so busy. I'm slammed.
Don't mess with me, because I will kill you and everybody you love.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the official Spider-Man Homecoming review reacts video from the Explosion Network. I am Jack Cruz. I'm joined by Ashley Hobley and Jono Peck.
What's going on?
Hey.
So tonight, plain and simple, we're just here to talk about Spider-Man Homecoming, the newly released movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, starring the title character, Spider-Man. Obviously played by Tom Holland. We're just going to have a quick chat about that. We're going to do quick 5 minutes, spoiler-free, so if you haven't seen the movie, you can still enjoy this video for the first 5 minutes, and then we'll go into some more spoiler territory. Starting off, let's just go around the table. Jono, what did you think of the movie?
I really liked it. It was. I went in there with really high expectations. I think I might have bought into the hype too much, though, because it wasn't as good as I kind of was expecting. It was probably a 4-star movie. It wasn't as funny as I kind of hoped it would be. It's probably... I haven't watched the original, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 for a while, but I didn't walk away thinking that was like the best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen. So, but I did enjoy it. What about you guys?
Ashley, what about you?
Yeah, I'm feeling about the same. It's really good. It felt like a Marvel movie. It definitely connected with all the other ones in a really good way. Better. It felt more like a Spider-Man comic than I think I've ever felt the Spider-Man movie be like. But yeah, it was. There was a lot of hype leading up to it, and I don't know if it lived up to the hype, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was everything I wanted it to be, and more. I really agree with what you said, Ashley, about it being as close to a Spider-Man comic as if you've ever come in a movie. I think you go back and watch the Tobey Maguire films, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and they're good movies, but they're like he's sort of his own Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire,
yeah.
And Andrew Garfield was closer. But I thought Tom Holland absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
I thought the movie was hilarious. I was laughing out loud several times, like many times through the movie. I thought Tom Holland absolutely nailed it. I thought the supporting characters were great. The villain was fine. He was probably my least favourite thing about the movie. I just wanted Tom Holland the whole movie. Like, as much screen time as he had, I was happy. Like, I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
As
He's
Peter
going to be the
Parker.
next big star, I think.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah. And they tied it really well in with the obviously the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, I loved it. It's probably my favorite. Well, it's definitely my favorite Spider-Man movie. It's probably my favorite superhero movie. And I think it's the best comic book movie that I've seen. That I, off the top of my head, I've had 24 hours to marinate on it now. I got out of them. It's now Friday night, the 7th of July. I saw it opening night, Thursday night. Got out at about 10:30. So, yeah, I loved it. I had an absolute blast watching it. I thought it was fantastic.
There you go. That's pretty big.
As
pretty high praise. I mean, so you liked it more than the Dark Knight?
Yeah, only just. Dark Knight's fantastic. But it was Spider-Man. So Spider-Man's my favorite comic book character.
Yeah.
And it was everything I wanted from a Spider-Man movie. It was funny. It was quippy. It was fast-paced. He was a really good young Spider. And it wasn't like, a lot of the Peter Parkers that we've gotten in the past have been, older Peter Parker, as far as like cartoon, even like comic books, a lot of that is. So I really think they nailed that young Peter Parker sort of finding himself as a person and as a hero.
Yeah. Definitely.
Where did you guys sort of rank it in the comic book movie echelon?
It's definitely in the top tier. It's just, it's so close, so recent, it's hard to compare it, but yeah, it's definitely in the top echelon of the Marvel movies and probably comic book movies in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more memorable ones. I still probably feel like the first Avengers film and The Dark Knight, and even Guardians of the Galaxy would be ahead of it for me, just because.
Really?
Like it was, I really enjoyed it, but it was definitely flawed. Like it went too long, I thought.
Do you think?
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
I could have got like another half an hour out of it.
Nah, I
loved it.
I think it went too long. There was some of the humor was a bit miss for me. I didn't think
Really?
like one of the characters that we can talk about more in the spoilers. I just felt like didn't need to be in the movie at all, and even the fight scenes. I'll talk about it more in the spoilers, but I thought they didn't really up the ante from what we've come to expect from these movies. There was nothing that I went away from going like that scene, like the airport scene in Civil War was the scene that everyone kind of remembers and talks about. But I don't think this one really had anything like that. There was no epic. The climatic,
like
there was a big fight at the end, but it's not something that you'll walk away going, that was amazing.
No, and we'll go a little bit more into that a bit later, but I really felt like that was what they went for with it. I felt like they didn't want it to be this, and that's I think that was they picked obviously the Vulture as the villain. You know, I sort of half expected that there would be like a bigger, you know, reveal villain sort of halfway through the movie, and that was sort of playing short and quick and fast or whatever the saying is with the Vulture, and sort of he halfway through the movie he'd drop out and someone else would jump in. But they didn't. They played it through the whole, and I think they went and they touched on it a few times, and you know they said, you know, be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Just sort of touching on that point a little bit. Actually, just before we jump into full spoilers, what did you think? Where do you rank it in the echelons of the Marvel movies and comic book movies as a whole?
Yeah, probably like Jono, behind Civil War or the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy. Around that mark, but yeah, it's a bit early to say. Maybe
Not
after a
quite at the top.
rewatch.
Yeah, definitely needs a second viewing. Okay, full spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, stop it right here. Come back and watch the rest of it. Once you've seen Spider-Man: Homecoming,
Jump back in.
We will see you when you're back. Plat. Okay, for those of you
Pepper
still hanging
Potts!
around,
Can you believe Pepper Potts? No.
full spoilers. Let's jump in. Let's talk a little bit about the villains of the movie. I really like the inclusion of Shocker. Just quickly touch on that. The two Shockers. I love how they had the first Shocker, and he had like, you know, and he was wearing like the Shocker uniform with the yellow sort of checkered sort of sleeves, and then he's gone, and then but now you're Shocker, and it's like that was like really cool. I was like, oh, like he was walking out, and he's like, oh, you know, he's like, you call yourself the Shocker. Obviously, Michael Keaton's character, the Vulture, is saying that to the I forget the actor's name, but saying it to his character as he's walking out. And then I'm like, cool. I'm like, the Shocker's going to be like a second villain in this movie. Maybe they'll be like fighting off against each other. That'll be really cool. And then he just vaporizes him. I was like, I was sort of a little bit disappointed. I was like, it's like Shocker's done for this cinematic universe. And then he sort of flipped it and he's like, now you're Shocker. I was like, okay, that's cool. But like, yeah, we still get Shocker. That's fine. I thought that was just a nice inclusion to have that kind, you know, that sort of. And I liked how they went. We'll just touch on what we were talking about before. They went with the Iron Man. You know, Tony Stark said it to him: "Be friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Be low key. Fight the little bad dudes." And they kept playing it up like, we're not getting the Avengers involved. This is just this guy's small fry. This is you know, get the FBI involved kind of thing. And I think that was sort of the tone they went in the movies. This isn't some big epic. You know, we don't need Thor and the Hulk for this. You know, we'll call it like the FBI kind of thing, and I think that's probably why they sort of went with that a little bit. Maybe the next one it'll be a bit more of an epic villain, but I will agree with you, Jono. The major disappointment for me was the final fight. That was on the plane.
It wasn't great.
It was messy. It was
just
hard
dark.
to sort of.
It was hard to keep track of everything. That's
you
the
couldn't
biggest
see
problem.
what was going on.
Yeah.
The LED sort of flashing plane, it was all over the place. It was hard to sort of see what was actually happening, who was where. Was he in the Vulture suit? Was he not in the Vulture suit? Was he still on the plane? I couldn't really tell until I'm like, oh, wait, no, he is. That was probably the big disappointment for me. It was sort of a bit anticlimactic as far as the ending goes.
Yeah.
What did you think about that, Johnny?
Well, yeah, specifically with the ending, there was no kind of typical outsmarting the villain and winning that way. It was more like, oh, the villain made a really bad decision to pick up, for some reason, this one box full of explosive materials, and Spider-Man tried to save him. Like, I thought that was kind of a strange way to do it, but I think that they were, like you mentioned, they were actually trying deliberately to subvert a lot of the tropes that we've seen in these Marvel movies, especially I guess,
or just Spider-Man movies in general. This one felt a lot more suburban.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
right.
The Manhattan streets and everything.
Yes,
So.
he
Even
wasn't
like when he
swinging
climbed
through the skyscrapers.
When he climbed the monument, he's like, I've never been this high.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, like he hasn't been out of Queens kind of thing. He's never even been in like downtown Manhattan kind of like they really played on that small town friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which I liked. I thought it was a different, they could have gone bombastic and over the top and, crazy villain, but they didn't. They kept it like, it's the Vulture.
Yeah.
It's like, he's not
More
super,
small time,
well known. Yeah, I liked
which was
that
one
they
of the
sort
first
did that.
villains that Spider-Man came up against back in the original run of comic books. It was the Vulture, who was basically just a thief.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that showing him like trying to do his friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and saving people and kind of failing to find crimes that were worthy of his talents was
that was
an
pretty
interesting
good.
thing. But at the same time, they managed to maintain the integral part of Spider-Man or Peter Parker's story, which was that he has this great power and the great responsibility that comes with that, which means he misses out on all these teenage experiences that he wants to enjoy.
The parties and the dances and
then swimming with girls in swimsuits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the side characters. I thought his sidekick
Ned
was
Ned, yeah.
absolutely. Ned was. I thought he was hilarious. I really like. They're doing a really good job with some of these side characters in this universe. Like, obviously the Ant-Man side character. He's hilarious. Ned was hilarious in this. I think they're doing a good job with putting these sort of sidekick type characters in these movies.
Very ethnically diverse cast in this movie.
It was, Flash Thompson was
very different to the comic books.
Yeah, which I mean, I didn't think took away from it. I mean, I don't think that those characters are
definitely not
important enough for it to need to be Flash Thompson's a big tough white jock.
No, he's just a douche.
He's just a douche. Yeah, he's a nerd. He was in like the nerd like
he was a nerd as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
he was just a cooler nerd.
He's like DJing at the party and whatever. I thought that he was, it was sort of felt like a teen kind of movie at times with those the dynamics between those sort of the school characters.
Yeah, and that was one of the great things is that this Peter Parker was actually like he was meant to be 15. I think Tom Holland's it was 18 or 19 when they filmed this. So it was the first time that he actually felt like a teenager. I think Andrew Garfield was almost 30 years old when he did it. And he was way too cool to be a nerd. And then even Tobey Maguire was like 25. So it actually felt like a teen thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and exactly. I think you hit on that. Andrew Garfield was like the cool Spider-Man, Peter Parker skateboard sort of. Yeah. Like I'm like Peter Parker didn't skateboard. What the fuck is this shit? So I thought he was great. I like Tom Holland was my absolute like favorite thing in the whole movie.
Definitely, he was great.
Working through the other side characters, obviously Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Pretty standard sort of performance from him in and out of the movie.
Sparingly,
Iron Man. Yeah. I thought they handled him well. Like he wasn't too, some of the jokes with a lot of the posters and sort of that kind of thing. And that leading up to the release was, it's all about Iron Man. It's going to be an Iron Man movie, but I think he was used really sparingly, which worked really well. He was there when he needed to be, and then he was not when he didn't need to be. Marissa Tomei, a different take on Aunt May.
Hot take.
A hot take on Aunt May. She's sort of that hipster single mum kind of like, I'm still cool, but I'm like in my 40s kind of thing. Everyone thinks she's hot because, I thought the twists on all the like the established characters, obviously the reveal at the end that, the chick is MJ,
Michelle.
No, the other girl.
Michelle,
Michelle, she
was
my friends call me MJ.
She was the character that I thought didn't need to be in this movie at all. Every time she showed up, she was making some kind of sarcastic remark, and they didn't really hit for me. I thought that it was. I kept thinking like, why is she in this? Why is she in this movie? And then at the end, she's like,
it's pretty clear she's only Yeah, she's only in there to set up the next movie. I think.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it felt a bit shoved in there, which I didn't really like.
Yeah,
but-
that was probably the only one that bothered me. Not because it was. I don't know. She's not like like that's the thing. Like Flash Gordon's character, still a douche, still a dick, still a mean dude. But Mary Jane, like, she's the girl next door. Like. I felt like she was completely unnecessary, like you said, Jono, to the film, as far as that character being Mary Jane. Like, okay, I'm fine with Mary Jane being, like, you know, an ethnic, like, change her ethnicity. I've no issue with that. But Mary Jane's character is the high school sweetheart, the girl next door. She's not this sarcastic you know, rah, 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 sort of, like, girl. Like, that's not faithful to that character. So that was the only thing that sort of bothered me about that. Michael Keaton as the Vulture was when
Peter knocked on that door and he showed up.
That was a good moment. Yeah, that was a really good moment. That sort of reminded me of another movie.
They stole it from 22 Jump Street. Completely.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's what I was trying to think of. I'm like, I've seen that in a movie. Yeah, which was great. So I felt. I was actually really annoyed watching it in that at that point because it was like a massive moment of tension. But for some reason, that my theater just started like. Everyone in the theater started bubbling and talking and being like, and I'm like trying to be like in this moment and like feel the tension, but I couldn't enjoy it because everyone next to me was fucking talking, people behind carrying on, and people were like, oh, and I'm like, let me, like, you know, people were like laughing and stuff. I'm like, this is supposed to be like a serious moment.
Yeah.
And there was some sort of lightheartedness. Yeah, exactly. It was supposed to be a tension there, and it sort of was ruined by the atmosphere in the theater, you know, which was disappointing. But I thought Michael Keaton was really good. At the start, it was sort of like I felt like I didn't feel his motivation, I guess, as a villain. I'm like, okay, yeah, they stole your job. Yeah, okay,
providing
that's
for
a
his
shame,
family.
I guess. Yeah, exactly. And I felt like it could have come around a little bit further back to where like he was going after the people who cost him his job. Like they seemed to be to make enough, you know, of an impact at the start of the movie that they would be part of it, and they sort of just went in it for the rest of the movie.
It kind of came back to that, like the big score was going to be stealing from Tony Stark, and he was the one that kind of took that work away from him. So they did it, but they didn't really explain it that well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an interesting take, though, to kind of set it in that part of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it was sort of a good way to tie it all in. But I thought as the movie went on, he really came in to his own as the character. I thought he was sinister enough in that, but then at the same time, he wasn't over the top. He's like, I'm just doing this for my family. Like, I'm a bad guy, but I'm not really like. He's like, yeah, I'm doing it for my. I want to have a nice house for my daughter. Like, you know, whatever.
He wasn't trying to take over the world.
You can't relate with that.
Infinity Stones.
He's like. Yeah. Exactly. He's like, I'm not like trying to take over the world and everything. I'm just trying to make some dollars. Like, he wasn't big time sort of bad dude. So, I thought he was good performance. Donald Glover for some reason was in that movie, and he was great.
I love that they put him in there because it means people can stop asking for him to play Miles Morales because they can see how much older he is than Peter Parker, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's not going to work.
Yeah. People need to stop.
I think
with
there's
that.
a chance he's Miles Morales' uncle.
He did. Yeah, he did say, "It's like I've got a
line.
nephew in this." I'm
pretty sure Miles had an uncle when he first debuted.
So that was a cool little.
Ash.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, I did notice that when he said that. I was like, huh. It sort of made me sort of tick. The character who played Liz, again, you know, she was fine. She was good. Again, she was sort of like just an ancillary character. Didn't provide much as far as like. She sort of almost made it too easy for Peter Parker. Like, it was like he didn't really have to work for it. All of a sudden, she's just like, yeah, I know you like me. Okay, I'll go to the dance with you. I'm like, that kind of just happened.
Yeah.
Good for you, Peter, I guess.
That never happens to Peter Parker. It was completely unrealistic.
Yeah, he's normally like the tragic romantic character. I thought Martin Starr as the teacher was hilarious.
I was just going to say that.
Bookeen Woodbine as Shocker was fine. Logan Marshall Green, I think his name is
Trey Atwood from the OC.
Yes,
exactly.
He was the original Shocker.
Sorry, Alex.
I thought he was good for the time that he was in the movie. But the standout for me was Ned as a side character.
Oh, he was so good.
Hilarious. The man in the chair. Yeah, the guy in the chair. He was really funny. The whole movie cracked up when the whole theater cracked up when it got to the point where he goes, the lady walks in on him and he's on the computers. He's like, I'm watching porn. Like
that was another
the whole theater.
Another trope they subverted there. I thought that they did well to kind of
exactly
because I alluded to it earlier in the movie where he wanted to be that kind of character, and then I was like, it's happening, and then it just disappeared. And that's another thing that maybe is worth talking about is what did you think of Peter Parker's suit with all this high-tech gadgetry that we've never seen in a Spider-Man movie before? I don't know if that's something that's been in the comics because I haven't kept up with it since like Ultimate, but has he had a high-tech suit like the Iron Man level?
There's Iron
Not
Spider-Man.
like this.
Not to this level. There's been like Spider-Man 2099 and stuff like that, and the Spider-Man that went to like the alternate dimension, that cartoon from like the late 90s. So
I didn't like it that much, to be honest. It felt a bit too Iron Man.
I thought it was fine. Like I thought it was good enough. And then when he unlocked like the thing, I'm like, okay, this is sort of cool. I'm glad that they sort of didn't go on with it. I'm glad that after that point he lost the suit because it was just like sort of that one act of him like unlocking the suit and then getting locked in the factory and then going and saving the people, and then Iron Man's like taking the suit back. I'm glad that they didn't sort of go on with that. And like that suit that they revealed at the end, I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Great.
That looked
looked
awesome.
Pretty dope. But I didn't mind it. Like I was sort of like, okay, I really like the Sam Raimi webs from inside the body kind of like that's my sort of favorite Spider-Man sort of thing. I've never been a big fan of like the web canisters and like he makes his own webs. But it worked well. I thought it was able to tie it in with the plot a lot more. In places like the web thing knocked away, and then like getting trying to get the thing to work, and it's shooting out all different things. And,
They made more
mind,
sense.
Yeah, high tech suit.
The canisters.
I didn't mind
sense.
the high tech suit. Yeah, exactly.
I like the inclusion of the wings. Like the inclusion of the wingsuit. That was something
that was
that
a nice
they
add-on.
like
the glider.
Yeah, which was
the wing. Yeah.
It's a good callback to
which is not a
Amazing Fantasy, like the first appearance of Spider-Man. He had that webbing all along.
Exactly. Yeah. So not an unusual thing for a Spider-Man suit to have the webbing there. Yeah. So, I liked it. I liked the way, like as the movie went on, I became more and more. I liked the eyes moving up and down. It made sense. With like it's sort of like zoom in and out. As the movie went on, I became more and more attached to that suit, and I really liked it by the end of the movie.
And the AI in it as well. That was fun hearing seeing
was funny,
Peter play off the AI. Yeah.
Probably not. And she's like, "Now's your chance, kiss her," stuff like that. Like that's the other thing. Like I thought the humor was fantastic. Like I was laughing all the way through that movie. There was not a joke that fell flat for me. So I'm not sure what you guys were smoking. But
it was funny. I mean, I like the interrogation joke, the clear Batman reference.
Yeah. Where he's trying to do the voice.
Yeah,
absolutely. It was good. I thought the humor was great. It was really well written all the way through. The only problem I had with it was that the final fight and the ending fell flat. Even though I know they were trying to go for that more grounded Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, I still felt like they could have made the final fight a little bit more epic and just added a little bit more tension because it kind of just ended. And I never felt like Spider-Man was in danger. I never felt like he was, even though he was getting his ass handed to him. I never felt like he was in danger, like he was getting pounded there at the end. And I was like, okay, but he's not really dying. He's just sort of punching his head into the sand, and then it just sort of ended when he picked up the box or whatever. So, and then I'm like, okay, maybe he's dead. And I'm like, no, he just carried him out and didn't really have a scratch. I'm like, okay.
That moment where he was crushed underneath the building and he was calling out for help. Oh,
that was intense. Oh my god.
Oh, felt that.
Reminded me of boot camp. I'm like, push. And I'm like,
that was the humanizing moment for him. It was like he is a kid just calling out for help, and there's no one here to help him, and he just needs someone. He just needs anything.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. So, what do we all want from a Spider-Man sequel? Because inevitably, this movie will. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are looking like already, but after this weekend,
good.
after this weekend, I've no doubt we'll sort of have a bit of a feeling of how it ranks as far as sales and that kind of thing go. My theatre was full when I went. I'm sure many others have been over the course of the weekend and will be. So what are we all wanting from the inevitable sequel? Obviously, Spider-Man will be back probably in the next Avengers movie. He'll be in
It'll be Infinity War.
But what do we want from the next mainline Spider-Man movie?
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe avoid the Osborns. I think that would be key
I think that's
number
wise.
one.
Yeah, I'm glad. That's the one thing I'll say. I'm glad there was no Harry in this.
Harry or Norman or anybody.
Yeah, exactly. They could have very easily gone down that route. I still want a good Venom story, and I know there's a lot of talk about Sony doing the Venom movie, but the Sony produced this movie. Like their logo came on at the start of this movie, with Columbia and that. So,
that reminds me of the Marvel Studios logo when it came up and it was playing the Spider-Man music.
Yeah, like 5 minutes
Very
into the
nice
movie as well, instead of at the start. It was in a bit.
yeah.
Yeah, as far as a sequel goes, I think that by the time he's been through whatever happens in the Avengers, he is going to be at that next level of being, a bigger deal, and he's going to need a bigger enemy because of it. And I'd like to see them stay away from the ones that they've used before, which makes it really hard because
Can't use the best ones before.
Yeah, there's been 5 Spider-Man movies already, but I think
they've used Lizard, Electro. They've now used Vulture and Shocker.
Doc Ock.
Obviously, Doc Ock,
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin, Sandman, and Venom.
Yeah.
I think you can still give me. I'll still give me another Venom movie. They've never used Kingpin really in a proper Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't
haven't at
know
all.
if they will, seeing as he's in Daredevil, the TV show.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's sort of
Yeah, so I think what they'll need to do, the way that they showed
Maybe
the
like a Kraven the Hunter. That'd be cool.
Yeah, the way that they showed the Vulture
Marlin?
was a way that
a
we've
Marlin
never
movie.
seen the Vulture portrayed, I have never seen him portrayed that way. So
Yeah, they made the Vulture way more interesting than
yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised
Well,
if
maybe
they
not
just
way
tried
more.
to take someone that was lesser known as being a big Spider-Man villain and kind of just make them into one, like they did with this film.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of. What about Marlin? Would you take a Marlin villain movie, Ashley?
Sure.
He's one of my. He's still one of my
yeah. Just clicked who you were talking about.
The what do they
the
call
living vampire, right?
No.
No.
The ones that they're like collectors or something. I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll tell you later. But
Mass
the
Effect.
people listening, Ezekiel is in that storyline. They hunt
from the
down
Clone
the
Saga and everything. Yeah.
No.
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 Dylan, edit this out.
No, it's fine. We'll go into this after.
Right.
Yeah, I like Venom and Carnage are probably my favourite Spider-Man villains still, so I'd love to see them do that properly, or do it well at least. I think they could in this universe with these characters. Black Suit Spidey and Venom Carnage and all that, so definitely. So just to finish it out, guys, out of 10, what did you rank this movie? What's the number you're giving it out of 10?
8. That's my gut feeling. 8 at the moment. Maybe 8.5.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
Solid 8 for me. I still think the Guardians of the Galaxy was way funnier. So,
The other thing is, you felt like you've seen this all before.
yeah.
Like, those same scenarios. Oh, Peter, you're late. Where'd you go? That sort of thing again. I think if you felt like you were over Spider-Man from all the other movies, this isn't going to sell you on Spider-Man again.
So I just think it did everything better.
It did
than
everything
that.
better, but yeah,
It's definitely the best Spider-Man movie.
If you're worn out on it, yeah.
I really appreciated that we didn't have to see Uncle Ben die again.
That's good, yeah.
I think they really did us a solid with that one.
They-
This is a 9.5 for me. Like I said, it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. It's my favorite comic book movie, probably. It's my favorite movie of the year that I've seen so far. Take that with a grain of salt, though, because I've only seen Logan and Spider-Man. So,
Ooh,
So Guardians.
Two
You
pretty
seen
good
the
ones,
second
though.
Guardians?
no, I've not
So
yet.
Guardians Volume 2?
I've been slack. Anyway, so yeah, 9.5 from me. So overall, the Explosion Network gives this movie a big tick of approval. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us. This has been an Explosion Reacts to Spider-Man Homecoming. This is a product of the Explosion Network. You can find all of our content over at www.explosionnetwork.com. You can listen to all of our podcasts. Check out all our Twitch streaming over at twitch.tv/Explosion Network. All our videos here on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, share us with your friends and with your mother. You can follow us all on Twitter. I am Cruzy_mate. Jono is at Jono himself. Ashley is at Ashley Hobley. Until next time, plat, plat!
That was good.
What are you hiding, Peter? I'm just kidding, I don't care. Bye.